I'm Emily Mashak, and you're listening to Tuned Into NoCo, Town Square Media's show that lets you know what matters in NoCo. Today, I'm excited to welcome back Mike Fassi, the event coordinator for the Patriot Day Golf Tournament with Folds of Honor. So thank you so much for coming in.
Hi, Emily. Thanks for having me.
Of course. But before we get into the event, would you be able to tell me a little bit about Folds of Honor and how you got involved with the organization?
Sure, be happy to. Yeah, Folds of Honor was started back in 2007 by a gentleman or colonel in the United States Air Force, Dan Rooney. Dan was, it's a kind of an ironic story. He was sitting on an airplane, and as they were deplaning, he saw a family standing on the side of the aircraft, and they were waiting a casket to come off the plane. And he saw the kids there. And Dan is, as I said, a pilot, flies F-16s. And he said, you know, if that were my family, that would be my wife and my kids there. Who would be there to take care of them? And so as the story progressed, he set up the Folds of Honor organization to make sure that spouses and kids of wounded and deceased veterans were able to be provided a college education. So this is a scholarship for those folks.
Yeah, and what brought you to the organization?
I met Dan Rooney a couple of years ago, and he's one of those guys you just can't say no to. Dan Rooney has a great deal of magnetism, and so what he said to me in passing, he said, we do one at the Broadmoor Hotel in Colorado Springs, but we don't have anybody up north doing a Patriot Day Golf Tournament. And I said, So then my wife and I, we belong to Ptarmigan Country Club here. And so we had to apply ourselves and then apply Ptarmigan Country Club because one of the major sponsors of the event is the PGA. So the country club had to be in good standing with the PGA, and then we had to go through the process. And last year, late or early spring, we found out we were going to be approved, and then put the wheels in motion.
Yeah, and you are a veteran as well, correct?
Yes.
Would you be able to tell me a little bit about that?
I am a very old one. I was a Marine in 72, 73, then went to the Air Force, got out of the Air Force in 76. But I've been flying for the Civil Air Patrol, which is an auxiliary of the United States Air Force here in northern Colorado. We do 90% of the inland search and rescues in conjunction with sheriff's departments and local organizations. So I've been flying since I was 16. I'm not going to give it up now.
Well, thank you for your service. And I do want to ask, in your time with Folds of Honor, how have you really seen it impact the northern Colorado community? Do you have any specific stories that might come to mind?
Well, there are two specific gentlemen that actually lived here in Windsor. One is a gentleman by the name of Sal Gienta. Sal Gienta is a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, lived here in Windsor, recently moved to Dallas, Texas, I believe. He took a job down in Dallas, Texas, and he had kids. He said, Mike, this is a great organization. If you could help us out, it would be super. So when somebody with that kind of stature says, you know, this is what we in the military community think of this organization, it's hard to turn it down. And then our honorary spokesperson is a Marine here that lives in Windsor, Corporal Jason Hallett. Corporal Hallett, or Jason, who is a triple amputee, and he has twins, a boy and a girl that are 4 years old. And he was our spokesperson last year, and again will be our spokesperson this year. He said, Mike, there's no better feeling than knowing that because of this organization, my kids will be provided a good quality education. And so again, it's hard to turn them down when you've got folks that believe in the organization that strongly. And I've got a knack for organizational skills. My wife says I'm crazy, but it works out. And so this is our second year. Last year was challenging with COVID. We were fortunate last year. We hope to do better this year. We were able to raise $5,000 scholarships for folks here in Colorado. And you'll have it if you come out to the tournament in September. They'll have a chance to see the pictures of the fallen veterans that have received benefits. Their families have received the benefits from the organization's work.
Well, that is great to hear that last year's event was able to benefit so many. And now let's get into this year's event. What
Right.
do our listeners need to know?
Well, this year's event, if you recognize the date, it's September 13th. We do it around Patriot Day, and Patriot Day is 9/11. So last year's tournament was on the 12th. This year it's on the 13th. So hence the term Patriot Day Golf in northern Colorado with Ptarmigan Country Club. We've been very successful in recruiting a number of local sponsors, along with many large national sponsors that have stepped up to support Folds of Honor nationwide. So we're looking forward to that. The tournament itself is going to be at Ptarmigan on September 13th. We have a luncheon, kicks off at noon, and then we'll have, if those that were there last year will know that it's very patriotic. We actually sing the national anthem. We have the posting of the colors. For those in the military, they'll know what that's about through the Colorado State University Army ROTC program. And then we'll have a good time that afternoon. We've got some great prizes. We got a local sponsor, Davidson Gebhardt Chevrolet, is providing a car for a hole-in-one. We have a silent auction where you can actually buy 2 days and two full days, 2 nights at the Patriot Golf Course, which is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we have a ton of other prizes and games that everybody said last year was one of the best tournaments they've ever played in. So again, we're hoping for a full house. This year will be a bigger full house. Last year we were limited to 80 golfers. This year we're hoping to fill it to 120 to 140 golfers.
That is awesome. And like you mentioned, sponsors at the event.
Mm-hmm.
Are there still sponsorship opportunities
There's plenty
open?
of sponsorship opportunities. We've got sponsors. If you're in the food service business, we'd love a food sponsor. We have driving range sponsors. We have liquor carts. If you got a liquor business, we'd love to put your name on a liquor cart because if anybody knows golfers, they like to play golf and they like to drink beer. So you get plenty of publicity that way. We also have some platinum sponsors, platinum sponsorships, which is a $5,000 contribution, and you also get 3 foursomes to play under your name. A gold is $3,500 with 2 foursomes, and the silver sponsorship is a $2,000 sponsorship with 1 foursome to play.
And there will be an awards ceremony as well.
And then
correct?
we're a little unique. We do the first, second, and last. So even if you're a terrible golfer, you can come out, and if you come in last, you will get a prize. I guarantee it. And so we won't say who won it last year, but it has something to do with the Army, but we won't say that.
Well, that is so awesome. And I know a lot of our listeners will want to attend. How can they sign up and register?
Right. It's very, very easy. It's a long way to do this, but you go to Patriot Day Ptarmigan 2021.golfgenius.com. I know it's a mouthful, but Patriot Day Ptarmigan 2021.golfgenius.com gives you an opportunity to either volunteer if you'd like to work the event, gives you an opportunity to donate, or if you want to play, that's how you would sign up.
And I know we have a very patriotic community here in Northern Colorado, but
We love it.
what do you think our listeners need to be more aware of when it comes to the challenges that our veterans and their families face?
Well, I think right now, even though the pull down in Iraq and Afghanistan is occurring, there's still over 29,000 scholarships that have been issued or awarded since 2007. We have 4,500 scholarships that people requested last year that we couldn't fulfill. So even though the confrontations are not hitting the headlines, the families who paid the price are still there, and they still need our support. And That's what the message I'd like to make sure that everybody understands. You don't see the headlines, but the families that put forth the effort and the sacrifice, we still need to support them.
Right. And obviously the golf tournament is a great way to do this, but how else can our listeners support the veteran community here?
Well, I think you look at the memorial in Fort Collins, Veterans Plaza. It's a great way to help local organizations and veterans that are all associated. We're all doing the same thing. Some take care of houses. I mean, you look at Wounded Warriors, you look at Tunnels to Towers. Those are all great organizations They work with homes. We work with the families specifically and the spouses and children of the veterans. So it just, we need you to get involved, and we need you to say, this is important to me because I know, and everybody can finish that sentence, I know someone that has been to Iraq, been to Afghanistan, has or any of the other previous engagements, but didn't get the support. And now we have an opportunity to say thank you, and here's what we can do to help.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for coming in and talking to me today. Is there anything else you would like our listeners to know?
If you have any questions at all, I know that's a long way to, I've got a great committee. If you have any questions at all, give me a call. I'll give you my cell number, 970-227-6121. And take a look at our sponsors. Talk to people at Edge Mortgage. Talk to people at Davidson Gebhardt Chevy, Northern Colorado Carpets, High Country Beverage, along and support our national sponsors, Coca-Cola, Delta, Budweiser. I grew up in St. Louis. You got to promote Budweiser. And the PGA. So if you're a golfer, if you use any of those products, if you seek an opportunity to help out, we would appreciate it in any way you could. And we appreciate the opportunity to come online and come on and tell our story.
Yeah. Well, of course, we are happy to have you here. Thank you again, Mike.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate it.
Again, that was Mike Fassi, the event coordinator for the Folds of Honor Patriot Day Golf Tournament. Register for the tournament at patriotdayptarmigan2021.golfgenius.com.